Welcome, scholars, to Lesson 7.1, Adding and Subtracting Polynomials. A polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials. And let's go ahead and define what a monomial is. So that would be a number, a variable, or a multiplication of numbers and variables, meaning like 3x squared, 7xy, 10z to the third, anything like that. That would be a monomial. So a polynomial is basically one of those or several of those. Each monomial is called a term of the polynomial, and a polynomial with two terms is a binomial. The prefix bi means two, so that means there are two terms. And a polynomial with three terms is a trinomial. That prefix of tri meaning three, so the trinomial has three terms. So, and in this example, binomial 5x plus 2, see how there's two terms. So you can write next to binomial two terms. See how this is the first one and this is the second one. And then with a trinomial, that would be three terms. And again, that would be, here's the first one, here's the second one, here's the third one. Now, the degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of its terms. A polynomial in one variable is in standard form when the exponents of the terms decrease from left to right. When you write a polynomial in standard form, the coefficient of the first term is the leading coefficient. So in this example, you have the leading coefficient of 2 because the coefficient is the number in front of the variable. So 2 is the number in front, and it's the leading coefficient because it's the first one. Now, the degree of the polynomial is basically just the exponent or the sum of exponents of the term. And then our constant term is just that number at the end. So let's go ahead and write down that standard form, because that's what we're going to do first. Standard form means the exponents decrease from left to right, meaning they go from big to small. So let's put these polynomials in standard form. Looking at number 1, let's look for the largest exponent, because that's what we're doing. We're putting the exponents in order from biggest to smallest. The biggest exponent is 5, so we're going to put that first. Since it's subtracting x to the fifth, it's going to be negative x to the fifth. The next largest exponent is that x, and there's nothing there, so there's an invisible 1. So that would be our next biggest exponent. And it's positive, so we're going to say plus x. And then last but not least, we have our constant, that minus 1/3. It's just a number. There's no x there, so that's going to come last. So minus 1/3. And there we have it in standard form. Let's look at number 2. Where is our largest exponent? That would be x to the fifth over 8. So I'm going to start with that one. And since I'm subtracting, it's going to be negative x to the fifth over 8. Next largest exponent would be 4 right here. So I'm going to say plus x to the fourth. See how my exponents are going to go in order from left to right, from biggest to smallest. So I have 5, I have 4. My next biggest one would be 2. So that's positive, so plus x squared. My next largest one would be that invisible 1 there, so plus 3x. And then last but not least, I have my constant. Just a constant is just a number. So I have minus 7. And then I'm done with that one. So I'm going to go ahead and say pause the video here and try 3 and 4 on your own. And I'm going to go over the answer. So go ahead and pause and try 3 and 4 now. All right, so let's go over the answers to 3 and 4. So first would be x to the fourth. That's my biggest exponent, x to the fourth. My next biggest exponent is negative 2x to the third, so minus 2x to the third. And then my next largest one is x squared, so minus x squared. And then I have my constant of plus 1/7. Number 4, I'm going to start with my largest exponent of 2, so negative 7x squared. Then my next largest would be that invisible 1, so minus x. And that positive 10 would be last, so plus 10. And there you have it in standard form. If you have any questions, please pause the video and come ask me. But if you're ready to go on to the next example, let's look at adding polynomials. So to add polynomials, what we're going to do is basically combine like terms. That's all we're going to do. Combine like terms. So you can look at that example up there from the textbook, but I'm going to go ahead and do 5. So if I'm adding, again, I'm just going to combine like terms. So let's start with our 8x squared. My like term with that would be that 3x squared. So 8x squared plus 3x squared gives me 11x squared. Then I'm going to go to my next like terms, which would be that positive 8x and that 5x. So 8x plus 5x is 13x. Then that negative 9 can't be combined with anything, so just minus 9. And if we forget what like terms are, let me remind you. So it has to be the same variable to the same power. So that's why 8x squared and 3x squared are like terms. They're both x squared. And that's why 8x and 5x are like terms. They're just both x. All right, so number 6, I'm going to go ahead and start with 7x squared, my x squareds. So 7x squared is underlined, and also negative x squared. So those are my like terms I'm going to combine. Then I'm going to add or subtract the coefficient. There's an invisible negative 1 there in front of the x squared. So 7 minus 1 gives me 6. So 6x squared. My next like terms would be just the x. And I only see 1 here, that plus 4x. There's nothing to combine it with, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that down. And then last, I have just my plain numbers, my constants. So negative 7 plus 5 would be negative 2. And that is my answer right here. So go ahead and pause the video and try 7 and 8 on your own right now. All right, let's go over 7 and 8. So my like terms, let's start with x squared. 9x squared, there's nothing to combine it with, so I just bring it down. And that's it. Now just my x, so that would be 7x and then negative 4x. So what's 7x minus 4x? That would be 3x. And then last, I have my constants. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. For number 8, my like terms are negative 6x squared and negative x squared. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7, so negative 7x squared. Then I have minus 3x and minus 7x. Minus 3x minus 7x, so negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. So I have negative 10x or minus 10x. And then last, negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. So I have minus 6 right here. Hopefully you got those right. Again, if you have a question, please pause the video and let me know. Otherwise, we're going to move on to our last part, which is subtracting. So when I'm subtracting polynomials, I'm going to keep, change, just like I do with integers. I'm going to keep the first term, change the minus to a plus, and change all of the signs in that second polynomial, that second set of parentheses. So for number 9, I'm going to keep this first polynomial the same. So 6x squared minus 3x plus 7. I'm going to change this minus to a plus. And I'm going to change the sign of both of these in here in the second set of parentheses. So 3x squared becomes negative 3x squared. And negative 7x becomes positive 7x. And now I can just combine like terms from here. So 6x squared minus 3x squared is just 3x squared. 6 minus 3 is 3. Then negative 3x plus 7x is positive 4x. Negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4. So plus 4x, and then the plus 7, nothing to combine it with, so I bring it down. And that's my answer for number 9. For number 10, I'm going to do the same thing. Keep, change, change. So keep my first polynomial the same, 10x squared plus 3x plus 7. I'm going to change the minus to a plus. And I'm going to change each term inside the second set of parentheses. So negative 7x squared becomes positive 7x squared. Negative 3x becomes positive 3x. Negative 4 becomes positive 4. Okay? So I kept this the same. Here, I'll even write on here. So I'm going to keep. And then I changed the sign. And I changed the sign of this whole polynomial here. Now I can combine like terms. So 10x squared plus 7x squared is 17x squared. Positive 3x plus 3x is 6x. And 7 plus 4 is 11. All right. Go ahead and pause the video and try 11 and 12 on your own. All right, let's go over these answers. I'm going to keep, change, change. So 3x squared minus 3 stays. This becomes a plus, and these change to positive 10x squared minus 10x. When I combine, I get 13x squared. The minus 10x is brought down. There's something to combine it with, so it is the minus 3. And now number 12, I'm going to keep, change, and change. So negative 6x squared becomes positive 6x squared, and that positive x becomes minus x. So when I combine these, I get 3x squared. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. Minus x, nothing to combine it with, and plus 3, nothing to combine it with. So go ahead and let me know if you have any questions on any part of this. Otherwise, move on to the practice and the mastery check. Again, let me know if you have any questions. I am here, and good luck.